I'm back. Alright, you guys, I'm proper pissed off right now. So recently, Pokimane has been getting a lot of heat, and I'm really freaking mad if you can't tell already. It doesn't make any sense. She literally did nothing wrong. It's simply not possible for her to be not in the right, and I'm here today to prove it to all of you dumb who think, oh, Pokimane deserves criticism for what she did. No, she doesn't. She's perfect in every way, so stop slandering the queen's name before I pull out my butterfly knife. Anyways, I'd like to go over some parts of the documents that both Pokimane and Fedmyster published in order to validate my correct stance on the issue. Even though my opinion should be accepted as correct without any evidence at all, but whatever, I'll let it slide. I find it quite annoying that Fedmyster tried to claim that Pokimane didn't want Yvonne in the house. In case you're unaware, Fedmyster tried to claim that Pokimane didn't like Yvonne and didn't want her to make content. Yvonne is another member of the OTV house, which is where Pokimane lives and makes content. This was obviously a fat lie. Pokimane would never want to kick out Yvonne for trying to make her own content, and I got the screenshots to prove it. Oh, shit. Well, you basically know what I mean. Just take my word for it. You don't need the screenshots. What are you talking about? Pokimane's an honest woman, and she really has a clean past with no controversies whatsoever. So she's really kind and sweet also. Of course she wouldn't do that to Yvonne. I mean, honestly, who would you rather trust? Actual screenshots or just my word? Like, it's kind of obvious. Obviously me. I just don't get some people. Like, they try and say Pokimane isn't a nice person and she talks about the other offline TV members behind their backs, but it's all just lies. It's so annoying. I'm telling you, it's all of the privileged white males, and it's a hierarchy. They don't want to see a female succeed in the entertainment industry. They've been keeping us women down for years, and I'm sick of it. Always with these invalid claims towards Pokimane with no evidence to back it up at all. Like, if you're gonna come at the queen, at least provide some evidence or texts to back it up or something like that, but there's just nothing. Fedmyster could have at least provided some evidence. He didn't even do that. Like, he's such an idiot. There's literally no evidence at all of Pokimane doing anything wrong, so I just don't understand how any human being on this planet could critique her for absolutely anything at all. I just don't understand it. Shit simply baffles me. Pokimane also wrote this in her response to Fedmyster's claims against her. Looking back, I would have done a lot of things differently, and I know for a fact that neither of us handled the situation perfectly. I mean, look at how humble she is. She didn't even have to do that, because as it is known, Pokimane did handle the situation absolutely flawlessly and perfectly, so there was no need to say that they both could have handled it better. Only Fedmyster made the mistakes, and a lot of them at that, so he definitely didn't handle the situation perfectly. However, Pokimane on the other hand did without a doubt. She handled it completely perfectly. Additionally, on top of how stupendously Pokimane conducted herself and acted throughout this whole dramatic situation, she added this tidbit of information in her conclusion paragraph. Out of respect to my friends who are mentioned in these convos, they were all shown the texts and were of course given the option to decline any convos from being included. If any parts of the convos were blocked, I have done so to maintain privacy for them and will not disclose that info. I hope this context shows my side of the story and helps put this to rest. I mean, just wow. Pokimane is such a kind soul. She's just the definition of an ideal woman and role model. Like, how can someone this respectful of other people's privacy and well-being even be under scrutiny at all for anything? It's so obvious from this single sentence that Pokimane is completely and objectively right and innocent that you don't even need this stupid like evidence or actual proof when you have something like this. God, man, and to think some people are mad at Pokimane and trying to say she did something wrong. Some people are beyond me, I gotta admit. Fedmyster also published a response to Pokimane's response, I believe, and at the end of it, he had the audacity to say this: "Please respect our privacy and avoid further sharing or discussing this leak, as it's a gross invasion of privacy, and I regret that it was made public." Yeah, I bet you would say that, Fedmyster. It's a gross invasion, but not of privacy. It's of your evil acts to try and defy Pokimane. How dare you even try and attempt such a feat, you monster? Now you probably want this whole thing to blow over, don't you? But guess what, buddy? I just made a YouTube video about you, and I exposed your ass to my loyal and lovely fan base. Thanks for 100 subs, guys. So now it's really over for you. I'll give you two options, Dumbmeister. Either you leave the internet forever, completely erase any trace you've ever had on it, or you apologize to Pokimane for absolutely everything that you did and redact all of your evidence and statements against her. Those are the only two ways I'll ever be able to look at you in a positive light, because anyone who says anything about Pokimane with a negative connotation is dead to me and wrong. Plus, it has been shown time and time again that when I don't like someone, no one likes them in the world, because my opinion is God's opinion. Pokimane is a national treasure, a gem, and the fact that people are making up all this stuff just out of the blue with literally no evidence to back it up at all is really starting to get me peeved. And trust me, you do not want to see me when I'm angry. I'll be the first one to tell you. I'm like the Incredible Hulk. But anyways, before I close out this video, I wanted to look at a couple of tweets made by some like-minded people such as myself, people who are correct. These tweets were all replies to Pokimane's tweet where she linked her response to Fedmyster, just to provide a bit of context for these tweets. The first one reads, "For those of y'all saying nobody's going to read that or I'm not reading it, stop it. That's rude and disrespectful to Poki and the rest of their friend group." I couldn't agree more. You're saying you actually have a life and you don't want to read 11 pages of Pokimane on Twitter? Are you gay? Of course you have to read it. If you don't, that's basically racism and sexism and you're a pedophile. Also, I guarantee Pokimane and the other OTV members will feel personally attacked if you don't read Poki's response. They will literally be on the verge of suicide if you, one person, don't open that Google Doc and read the whole thing. So just do it, you bitch, and stop being a disrespectful women hater. The next tweet says, "I hope you're doing okay with all these ignorant men in your comments. Your experiences are valid, queen." That is the type of positive energy I like. I mean, Pokimane especially needs it in these tough times when all the haters are just plotting against her, and for no reason at that. Plus, during this pandemic, she has probably been struggling the most out of all of us. She can't even get food or a house, so she really needs these type of comments in this time. As you can see, this guy's definitely not a simp. He's just giving a girl a compliment. Obviously, anyone who calls this guy a simp is just actually retarded. I swear, chivalry is dead nowadays, and I'm just glad this guy still has that good old-fashioned respect for women. Good to see that fire still alive in some young gentleman. The last tweet I have for you all states this: "Y'all saying you're not reading all that but willingly read Fed's one? Just say you hate when women say their point of view and go." I honestly have never heard a more fact statement in my life. It's not like people might possibly have lives or differing opinions than Pokimane, so that's why they chose not to read our 11-page Google Doc. No, of course not. They're all sexists, every last one of them, just trying to keep a sister down. But as Lele Pons taught me, the greatest woman of all time, the Latina queen, you should always stand up for women and never for men. Even though I haven't yet seen one person tweet out that they weren't going to read Poki's side, all men who aren't reading Poki's side. I hope all men die in a hole. Then maybe society could advance with Pokimane becoming our supreme leader and grand chancellor. Ah yes, that would be like heaven on earth. But for now, we're stuck with these dumb, idiotic imbeciles who for some reason don't want to read an entire essay on some retarded YouTube drama. I know, I don't get it either. It's like, do you have a life or something? Damn, some people, I tell you. But yeah, with that, I think we have reached the end of this video. So in conclusion, Pokimane is love, Pokimane is life, Pokimane is God. Alexa, play Pokimane Fart compilation 4K HDR Dolby Digital. Thank you.